Fantasy Football Talk. You know what it is. Back another week.
Yeah.
Rodney, Jay, what's going on, bro?
Hey, nothing much. It's been for the most part, good week. I had a couple of cart issues I won't get into yesterday, but everything's good now. We on and rolling. It's football time. We had preseason games last week. I'm gonna say a little. I'm gonna talk about my Raiders and how awesome they looked.
I mean, it's preseason.
It's
Okay.
preseason, but it's football, and we got more games coming at y'all this week. We got our first draft coming up this weekend. Are you ready?
Of course, I'm always ready, man. Come on, man. I'm the GOAT, man.
Why?
Stop
Why they even ask? Of course you're ready.
it. I'm always ready. Come on, man.
How things on your end?
Everything good, man. Just trying to get focused on these drafts, man. It's about to be a couple starting Sunday, man. It begins, and it's going heavy after that. So it's just gonna be crazy. So it's gonna be a lot of drafts going on. I'm ready for it though.
Yeah,
So
it's go time.
definitely. So we got a little bit of news
Yeah.
today.
All right.
Not much. We got I don't know if it's good news or bad news, but we got Deshaun Watson is starting Friday. I don't know. They saying that could change though.
Yeah.
With the ruling, because they said they want the suspension to start immediately,
Yeah.
so that could cut that out. We don't know. I guess Cleveland knows something we don't know. So and they should, because they he plays for them, so he should know something. So
Yeah, that's one we talked about. Right now, he's just in a no touch zone because it's just
yeah.
it's just not looking good. Like I said, even if he might play in the preseason, might be the only chance the Browns
Yeah.
get to see what he can do. So I think at least on that level, it'd be interesting to see how he plays a year after taking all of last year off. But as far as fantasy football is concerned, to me, it's over.
I mean, yeah, me too. As far as real life football, though, I find it weird that they want to suspend him immediately instead of letting him just play in the preseason. Because I always thought if they suspended you, you still could play in the preseason and not play in the regular season.
It's gone different ways, but I think for him, it's all about the process that are coming. I don't think Roger Goodell wants to see him on the field because he doesn't want the blowback that's going to come from it. Because
Okay.
it's gonna be huge.
No, I get that. I understand that
Yeah.
definitely. Then we got I don't know if I like this idea too much, but the NFL is planning to add a game on Black Friday in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
2023 or 24. Me personally, I don't think it's a good idea because Black Friday is more of a shopping day.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would actually watch. I mean, I'm a football fan, so I probably would. I don't really do the Black Friday stuff myself. I don't like being around crowds like that, but I don't know. Teach his own. I don't know.
Hey, I do most of my shopping online, so the Black Friday is not gonna be one. So if there's football, I'm watching it, no
Yeah.
matter what day it is. But I want you. I don't know. But that's the NFL's game. They want to saturate you with football any opportunity they get. So for them, it goes right along with what they've been doing. Give it to you as much as they can, and people ain't turned it away. As much as people always complain about Thursday games, they
Yeah,
still tune in. So
definitely still tune in.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
then we got Sean McVeigh. He gets a new contract. They didn't really give out the numbers.
yeah.
They said he was waiting for the GM to get his contract. Then he'll bring his out. But congrats to him.
Hey, you win a Super Bowl, you need to get that check, right?
I ain't mad at him. I mean, we gotta see him for the next 5, 6 years probably. So
Yeah,
hey, it is what it is. Marshawn Lynch got arrested yesterday. I want to say
yeah.
DUI,
Beast
and
mode.
and Frank Gore got arrested for assault
Hmm.
last month, but they just now bringing it up. So that's all I got for news. What you got?
I think that's pretty much all the major news. The only other thing is we'll probably get to later in the show is of course the preseason games. I'm gonna talk about my Raiders last week. That's right. We got to see them play against the Jaguars, and it was a complete blowout. And it was the preseason, so it's not like it really matters, but it was good to see that they looked pretty decent, especially since they didn't really neither team really played their start. It was all about the Hall of Fame
Yeah.
guys that night, so it was just good to see football. But we get a better show this week. We got a couple of games lined up coming
Mhm.
on this weekend. Any of them are of interest to you? You get to see your 49ers
Yeah, I want to see my Niners.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad football is back. There's no real
Yeah.
certain player I want to see, honestly. I do want to see a couple of the rookie quarterbacks from last year, outside of Lance, like Justin Fields and
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence and Zach Wilson, and just see how they adjust to the second
The
year
second year, right?
around. Because that's a big thing for dynasty league. Obviously, anybody that's playing a dynasty league, those guys are what you're looking for in dynasty leagues to keep for years to come. So I'm just trying to see what they do and how they put them
Yeah.
in position to win. So we'll see.
Good. Well, last time we were together, we did a mock draft. Tonight we're supposed to be talking sleepers. Like Rodney said, we got two parts of this show coming. We're gonna look back at that mock draft because there was some value picks made out there. There's a couple of ways people interpret sleepers. Sometimes it's just a player that you can get really, really late, and that's what the most common is. But there's also the side of a player that's getting drafted probably well below what their value really is. So we want to hit both sides of that sometime tonight. What do you, before we get into it though? Since we're talking sleepers, what do you mainly look for when you're going for your sleepers? What do you like to see in players?
Mainly in the sleeper opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
because that opportunity is the biggest thing for a sleeper. That's how he gets either drafted late or you pick him up, obviously on a waiver wire or if he's a free agency. But sleeper wise, it's got to be opportunity because you'll have a guy that's a lesser name, but he may be the number one running back, or he may be the number one receiver, or he just may be the starting quarterback, and he just may have a good year, and they just might not win because a lot of people look at team wins in real life to fantasy players in fantasy, and it really don't match up sometimes because a lot of guys have really good fantasy seasons, but they have horrible regular seasons, like
Right.
real seasons. So, so that's what I look at. I look at opportunity.
Yeah.
If you get the opportunity and you do well every week, then you can use that guy fantasy wise. It don't matter if they win or not. I mean, it ain't your team. You want them to do something. So
Right.
yeah, that's what I look at.
Yeah. I'm along that same line of thought. I'm looking because when you talk about your sleepers, it's not like you using like your third draft pick of the season for it. It's a late pick that you're just throwing darts at a wall and hoping you hit something at some point.
Yeah.
So it's all about which guys have a chance to potentially do something. Not every week, obviously, but somebody that can give me some feelings on bye weeks, or somebody who, sometimes you get a shout out. Like last year, for instance, Cordell Patterson came out of nowhere, and so that would have been a really deep sleeper. So sometimes you get those guys that contribute, but I'm not even trying to think about that. I'm just looking, like you said, guys that have the opportunity to be in there. And sometimes, like you said, it'd be a person on a really bad team, like a quarterback who's going to have to throw a whole lot because their team is terrible and they're always losing. Sometimes it's a guy that, is just they don't have any better person at that position. So they may not themselves be good, but just because they're on the team and no one else, like I said, there's a running back on a really bad team. And we've got that. We're going to be talking. We got some of that. So they're just by default going to be a good pickup because, they're the starter no matter what because they can't lose the job because there's no one there. So,
And another thing, like I can name a few. Jacoby Jones for many years.
Yeah.
I'm showing my age in fantasy out, but Jacoby Jones was actually deep sleeper, and he really didn't do much. He did kick return, punt return. He happened to be like the third receiver.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't run the ball at all, but just the opportunity. If your league took in kick return yards or punt return yards, and then he sprinkled in a play or two here and there, he got you 20 points.
Yeah.
So it's like those are the guys you consider sleepers that you can grab that's on the waiver wire and nobody even thinks about them. They'll be like, oh, man, I didn't know he was doing that. You stick him in the lineup, and I remember when I first stick him in the lineup, they was like, who is Jacoby Jones? I said, don't worry about it.
You'll find out
You'll find out.
When I beat you by 30.
Exactly.
He
put up 25. So that's what I look for. Guys like that. You'll find them, but We can start with these value picks though. You want to start with the value
Let's
picks
do
first,
it.
and then sleeps.
I put
So we
up the
can.
draft board from last week. We're
Okay.
going to wherever you want to. You pick a starting point wherever you want to go.
Uh, well, let's start with a player, and then we'll just kind of conversate about the player. Um, Derek Carr, your boy.
Hey.
Um, and I think he's a great value pick. And the reason I say that, if you think about Derek Carr has always did about
Yeah.
4,000 yards, around 20 to 25 touchdowns, around that number. Last year he exploded
Yeah.
for way more than that. Touchdown numbers a little bit down, but yards is really up. And I think a lot of people are not expecting that again,
Yeah.
even with Devontae Adams. I think they still kind of sleeping on that just a tad bit. So I think if you can get him even late round,
Yeah.
and if you're in the 2 quarterback lead to pair, I mean, you can't really go wrong with that because he's going to give you possibly quarterback one numbers on a value pick. I know that's your guy, but
Hey.
how you feel about that?
Hey, there's no better place to start than talking about Derek Carr. And here's the thing, just like you said, it's not like he's ever had bad seasons. He's always, and I think the thing, and even we talk about the difference between fantasy football and real football. A lot of even Raiders fans aren't really big on Derek Carr because they don't see him as being that primetime wide receiver. And he hasn't, to people's credit, he hasn't really put up the kind of numbers that would say he's in that elite group of quarterbacks, but he's always like marginally right there in that second or so tier of quarterbacks. Right now, he's being drafted as like the just out of the top 100. I drafted him in our mock draft last week, but that's me, and I see him.
Yeah.
I told people before he's going to have an MVP type season this year, and it's because of Davante Adams being there. Because like you said, he's always around 4,000 yards, and that's with no wide receivers at all to really speak of. Hunter Renfrow, as much as I love him, he's not a number one. He's a number two at best, and maybe even a number three. He's a really good possession receiver, but Derek Carr's been working with nothing. But if you go back to when Derek Carr had, like I said last week, Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree, Amari Cooper at the beginning of his career and Michael Crabtree near the end of his, he was a Pro Bowl quarterback. He was a cool Pro Bowl quarterback last year. He only had Darren Waller half the time, and he had Hunter Renfrow. You take that offense and you add in a Davante Adams. I don't understand why he is so low in people's rankings, but he's a guy I think is going to put up stellar numbers. And if you get him, like you said, it's about value, it's about opportunity. Derek Carr ain't going nowhere. There's not a quarterback that's going to replace him no matter what happens, and he's got weapons. He's going to put up. He's going to win somebody a league. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I mean, you got people like there's a lot of guys going ahead of him. Like
your
Kirk
guy, Trey
Cousins.
Lance.
Kirk Cousins.
Trevor Lawrence, I'm seeing in a lot of stuff going before him. I'm like,
I mean, he in the same category. They got him in the same category as a Justin Fields, sort of, in that same range, which for me is weird because when you add a Davante Adams to what he did last year, you would think he would do the same numbers or more. Because with Waller, Hunter Renfrow, and Davante Adams, you gotta pick your poison with all three of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, he should be higher, but that's just
much higher.
That's the mistake a lot of guys because they read the tea leaves and they don't. You gotta if you play fantasy, you gotta look at the fact that who they added, what they didn't have, and what he did last year. What he does every year at 4,000 with no receivers, no defense, O-line is shaky. So he doing all of this with all of the pieces not there. Imagine if he got some pieces.
Yeah.
You got to look at it that way. So, I mean, I like Derek Carr. Another one is Ezekiel Ellie. I mean, you were just talking about this earlier. Ezekiel Ellie is the number 30th running back off the board this year.
And he used to be a perennial first rounder. He's not that this year.
I can think of. I'll put him ahead of a lot of running backs like this year. And what's so crazy, he finished number 7 in fantasy last year as far as running backs. And why is he so low? Like they got Breece Hall and all these. There's no way I'm going Breece Hall over Zeke.
I understand where people are going in their minds with Brees Hall, but I'm not understanding it in actuality, like, at all. I'm with you. If I have to pick between Brees Hall and an Ezekiel Elliott, unless it's like a dynasty league, I'm going Ezekiel Elliott all day because he's not hit. I think what a lot of it is people expecting him to start falling off. He's hitting near that 30 age where you see running backs fall off, but he's like 3 years away from there. I think he's still got at least a couple of prime running back years left in him. So he's going a lot later, but like you said, that's one of those value guys that you can get. If you get Ezekiel Elliott as your second running back when he's typically been your first option, I think you're gonna be pretty good.
Well, I think it's Tony Pollard too. Tony Pollard is another reason why people are kind of standing. But if you listen to what the owner, coach, and GM said, because he is the coach. Let's be real. He said that, and I think they're gonna ride him into the ground because it's his last year. But I think they're gonna run him, and he's gonna be a big part of that offense. So I think anybody that is thinking about getting him, I mean, I drafted him in our mock draft last week because I think he's really gonna be that good. I mean, and I'll put it out there. I'm drafting him over McCaffrey, and that's me personally because of McCaffrey's injury history. What you get in McCaffrey when you draft him between 1 and 3, and you getting him at second, third round, that's better value to me when you know a guy's gonna be on the field, and he played hurt a lot. So
you got him in our 4th round a week ago, and that's about where he's been going in a lot of mock drafts, late 3rd, early 4th, and it's like for Ezekiel Elliott, you would have never thought it just 2 years ago. So
you can't beat that. I mean, that's not bad at all.
All right, I'm gonna skip around a little bit since you showed my man Derek Carr love. I'm gonna show one of your guys love, Brandon Ayuk, because Deebo Samuels was the guy last year. He was arguably after you go past the Cooper Kupps and the Justin Jefferson, in other words, Deebo might have been the best wide receiver after those two guys. And what he did as a wide receiver and a running back is just phenomenal. And because Brandon Ayuk was in the doghouse with Kyle Shanahan a good amount of last year, I think people are not really giving him the respect he probably deserves. If you've been watching in training camp, and it's just training camp, Ayuk's been connected with Trey Lance a lot. I'm gonna let you talk about him because I know that's your love right there. But I just gotta say, it's not just a homer pick. Ayuk is a really good value. And if I got to pick one, I'm picking Ayuk over Deebo only because I have to pay a much higher price.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to get that value.
Well, I mean, I look at it this way. Brandon Ayuk, if you think about it, the first 5 games, like you say, he was in the doghouse. Mm-hmm. But when he got out of the doghouse, he played really, really good football. And I think the main problem with that was the quarterback that was previously there could not get the ball to him down the field. So I think that is going to change.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see a more offense where they would actually stretch the field more. And that's what he's best at, stretching the field. I mean, don't get me wrong. He can run intermediate routes. I mean, he can do that. But you're taking away from his game by making him do that when you know he can stretch the field. And I think he's going to be – you know how players make that 3rd-year jump? I think he's going to make that 3rd-year jump this year to where you'd be like, man. And like you say, trying to get Deebo, that's a high – you're going to either have to reach to get him or you're going to lose out on something else to get Deebo. So, and honestly, I think Brandon Ayuk and Deebo are going to have great years. Yeah. Just in general. But I think Brandon Ayuk, and he got a connection with Trey. Yeah. They've been practicing on somebody together.
Really good.
So I think that's a good thing. So I think coming into this year, Brandon Ayuk is going to be something special. Trying to tell you. You ain't got to reach for him because I feel like he'll be there.
Yeah.
But you just got to kind of don't wait too late to get him, because if you wait too late, then you'll be like, oh man, I had a chance, but he's not there anymore. So.
Yeah, you got him in like the 7th round from our mock draft, so it's a guy you're not gonna put a lot of draft capital in, but I'm with you. You're gonna put some. You're gonna get. I would say it's a really good chance of him getting, if not 1,000 yards, he's gonna be very close to it this year.
Mm-hmm.
And to get that in the 7th round, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean that's a wide receiver too in the 7th round.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If you go in, and plus, you got to think in these leagues where you go skill players first, so you normally get your receivers first. If you can get him as your 3rd receiver to pair with your top 2 already, you can't go wrong with that.
No.
I mean, because you get a bona fide, really, number 2 that can give you number 1 numbers some weeks.
Yeah, some weeks, exactly.
And that's why I'm telling you, don't sleep on him. I think you're gonna do well this year. So, got another one for me.
Let's go for another guy. I know he actually got drafted in our pick. I think it was like the 10th round. And that's the guy Michael Thomas. That's another name that in years past, he went in the 10th round. Computer drafted him last week, but he's another guy who used to be a dominant number 1, coming off that injury, and there's no more Drew Brees there. So people are I won't say they're sleeping on him completely, but their expectations are very, very low.
I don't get that because I look at it this way. If you think about Jameis Winston, when he was in Tampa, Jameis Winston he had 2,000-yard receivers. Let's be real, he did have 30-something interceptions. Okay, I get it. But at the end of the day, I think him getting the ball down the field to Michael Thomas is not going to be the problem. If you're telling me you can get Michael Thomas in the 10th round of anybody's draft right now, and he can give you wide receiver 1 numbers possibly, oh man, you win the league. I mean, that's still in the draft.
I view a very close to someone who's going around that same level is DeAndre Hopkins. And DeAndre Hopkins, you going in knowing you're going to miss 6 games out of the season with him. As long as he's healthy, you're going to have Michael Thomas for a full year. And like you said, if he can get connected up with Jameis Winston, you might see the rebirth of Michael Thomas. So that's definitely one of those great vibe picks. We got people rolling in, so just want to take a moment to say hello. My mom's there, my aunt, and my cousin. We're going to be talking a lot about a few of the teams you guys follow. So stay with us. We're doing sleepers. We're starting off from our mock draft from last week with some value guys. And then we're going to move into some deep sleeping picks that, they were outside of our top 100 mock draft last week. But people that could, maybe not win you the championship, they can win you some, at least a few weeks here or there and help you survive bye week. So stay tuned. And of course, if you have some sleeper picks you want to throw out yourself, let us know.
Who you got now? Me and both of us love this guy. We both big Brandon Cook fans.
Oh yeah. Can we say enough about Brandon Cooks?
Oh my gosh! Let me tell you something. Brandon Cooks it's only a handful of receivers that can get 1,000 yards with just any quarterback. And for right now, in the league, it's probably 2. Him and DJ Moore are the only 2 that probably can get 1,000 yards with any receiver. Doesn't matter who the
quarterback is.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
So Brandon Cooks, I'm just saying, man, Brandon Cooks is going to be a monster. He's always good. He's consistent. Yeah. He's going to get you 100 receptions. He's going to get you 1,000 yards. He can get you about 8 touchdowns. And this is playing with
garbage,
not really good quarterbacks. I mean, let's be honest.
You're being nice saying not really good. They're garbage. He has not played with a good quarterback ever.
I mean, he hasn't.
Yeah, because he's been in Houston for the last year. Before that, he was with the Jared Goff Rams. It's like, he's played with mediocre at best quarterbacks, but he produces. The question is, I think, those that know, Brandon Cooks always produces. Why does he always fall so far? Because right now, he went 10th round in our mock draft last week. His average draft position has him at like the 60th player overall, 23rd. That's basically 22 wide receivers getting picked above him in drafts right now. There's not 22 wide receivers that are going to give you a better year than Brandon Cooks.
And that's the crazy part.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, because Brandon Cooks he's consistent, man. It's just one thing about him. Every game he's gonna bring it. He gonna give you 20 points.
Yeah.
Because he gets a bunch of receptions, he get a bunch of yards. He might throw in a touchdown. Even if he don't get a touchdown, he's still getting you a bunch of yards and receptions because he's a number one receiver. They don't have a number two. They don't have an established running back. And then Davis Mills, they say Davis Mills with him last year, he would have been on pace for 1,600 yards last year with Davis Mills as the quarterback last year. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't understand how he don't get picked. I don't. He get picked late. I just don't get it.
Right. But that's how
I'll take him.
Hey, we'll be fighting over that one because that's one we both talk about constantly on this show. So yeah, there will be a battle on who's gonna. He might go a bit early just because we're gonna be fighting for him.
Hey, look, I know from anywhere around you, I'm gonna have to grab him before you can grab him. So this is crazy.
Another guy we'll probably be fighting for, if you will. We both like AJ Dillon. He went fairly high in our mock draft last week. I actually once again drafted him. I think I was going all sleepers for some reason. But I went AJ Dillon in the 7th round, and that's after going Aaron Jones in the 2nd. And the thing about it, and we've said this on the show already, the with Devontae Adams not in Green Bay, Aaron Jones is a running back / wide receiver. So that's going to leave a lot of time in the backfield for A.J. Dillon. And I think they're both going to eat. And they're going to both eat tremendously. Aaron Jones, you're going to have to pretty much go with a 2nd-round pick for. A.J. Dillon, you can get a lot later. I think that's one of those picks where both it's a few teams where you'll see both running backs give you really good value. I think this is one of those cases where combined yards, I can see both of them over 1,000 this year.
Well, A.J. Dillon had more carries.
Yeah.
Than Aaron Jones last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think he gonna get the goal line touches.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones is gonna get the catches out of the backfield. Yeah. That's just gonna be his job.
That's his bread and butter.
Yeah.
But once you get near the goal line, it's AJ Dillon time.
AJ Dillon. And I feel like if you want to take that leap and get an Aaron Jones in the 2nd round, and you want to get an AJ Dillon later, you can play both of them.
Yeah.
In your lineup and get away with it because one is doing one thing and one is doing the other thing, and at some point you're getting double points basically in a sense because both of them touching the football.
Yeah.
So either way you look at it, I think I was telling somebody that he was like, I like Aaron Jones and AJ. I said draft both of them.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get both of them, try to get both of them. Put them in the lineup. I'm trying to tell you.
It's a winning strategy this year. It was a winning strategy last year, and that's what A.J. Dillon not getting the workload that he's expected to get this year. So,
and they ain't got no receivers. I mean, geez, like we don't know who. Let me stop saying
they don't have established guys.
They don't have any established receivers right now for us to go out there and literally draft.
Yeah.
Like it's outside of Alex Lazar. I mean, which is going to be a late round pick. But you don't have anybody else out there to really say, I need to get this guy. I don't think they have that right now. So A.J. Dillon and Jones is probably your 2 best guys outside of Aaron Rodgers that you probably can get. But one guy I really like, you're not really keen on, is Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney I had him last year. The problem with Chicago is they didn't do anything else to help out Mooney or Justin Fields. We'll talk about later. But I think Mooney is the number 1. Him and Fields got a connection. And as long as he can beat a double team, he'll be all right.
Yeah. Darnell Mooney kind of came up as a surprise on people last year because everyone had expected, it to be Allen Robinson's show because that's what it's been the whole time it's there. But that Darnell Mooney came on for real. And he's a young guy that you could definitely get some good value from. I would say that I don't like Darnell Mooney. I do like him as a player. I just the certain teams, and I know earlier we talked about opportunity. He's definitely that opportunity guy because there's not really my thing is there's not a lot to love about Chicago. So I'm for the most part staying clear of Chicago players. I'm a dab in on that a few times on a couple of players. Darnell Mooney is a guy to love, but it's just the cupboards are so bare. So I don't see what they're doing other than setting Justin Fields up for the okie doke. But hopefully he can make something out of it. So yeah, I mean, I like the Mooney pick, especially since you're not gonna is another guy you're not gonna put in a whole lot of draft effort in. You can get him a little bit later than some other guys. He's actually not that. He's right ahead of Brandon Cooks in the average drafting
which
spot.
is insane.
So it's you're gonna get him late, and you're not gonna pay a lot for him. So yeah, he's a really good value pick. Another guy I like for value, if you will, and you're not a huge fan of this one, actually, because you're not a fan of this team's passing game, and that's Rashad Bateman. He is way low in average draft. He barely got drafted last week in our mock draft. But he's borderline top 100, and probably it's hard to make a strong case because he missed so much of last year with an injury. But the thing I love about Rashad Bateman is, one, you're going to get him really late in your draft. Two, there's no Hollywood Brown there. So we said it before. Lamar Jackson, typically those are two people, Mark Andrews and some wide receiver. This year, Rashad Bateman is some wide receiver. So I think that there's a chance to get some good value because that 1,000 yards that Hollywood Brown had last year has to go to somebody. Rashad Bateman, there you go. 1,000-yard receiver that you're going to get for pennies on the dollar.
Oh, my gosh. It's got to be the quarterback, but I just cannot. I cannot see myself. I don't know if I would draft him. Maybe if I needed a fourth receiver, maybe then yes.
But he can be your third wide receiver, and you'll be
over who?
Over a lot of people. He can. Hey, here's some trivia for you. We say we don't like the fact that Lamar Jackson doesn't air the ball out a lot, which he technically doesn't. However, if you go look at the stats from last year, as a whole, Ravens quarterbacks threw for over 4,000 yards last season. They can do that again. and that's with Lamar Jackson missing a heck of a lot of games. So I'm saying there's a chance for 4,000 yards coming in that offense, and Rashad Bateman can potentially have a quarter of that.
I guess.
Or close to a quarter of that.
Okay. I'll give you that.
Here's we talking about how people are going. Rashad Bateman is getting drafted around the same place where Deandre Hopkins is, and like I said, we know Deandre Hopkins missing this at least 6 games. He's going to miss 6 games easily, and so But hey, he's getting a person that we like is Treylon Burks, and Rashad Bateman is about that value, and I think you're probably going to have to spend more to get a Treylon Burks because people are expecting so much from him, as opposed to Rashad Bateman. So, for me, that says win. We'll find out. I know you don't believe it.
I don't know.
I don't ask you to be a believer. I'm just saying, write it down, and when it happens, say JJ told us.
Look, you know me. If something happens and I say I don't like it and it happens, cool, bro. I give you kudos, bro. I'm saying I just don't. I don't know. That's a little shaky because my Andrews could be quadruple team. He throwing the ball to him. I'm just saying, man.
Without fail.
Without fail, he's just throwing the ball. I'm just saying. We have seen it happen, but okay. Now, James Cook is a lot is coming out of camp saying that he's a little small though.
He is
small. He on the small side.
But really, so is Devin Singletary. He's not that big of a guy either.
But Devin Singletary is more of an in-between runner between the tackles.
The running styles are
Cook,
different.
Yeah. Cook is more of a third down back, catch out the backfield. But if you play in the league, especially the way the Bills throw the football, Cook could be a guy that you might throw in on a bye week, injury maybe, because receiving yards, receiving touches, receiving touchdowns, they value more than actual running backs if you just don't, he catches out of the backfield. He may play a little special teams, who knows? Mm-hmm. He's somebody you can grab and kind of get a little bit of everything production-wise from him. Yeah. I like Cook. I don't know if I would get him 8th, 9th round, maybe 12th, 13th, maybe. Yeah. I mean, near the bottom.
He's a near the bottom guy. Putting up our draft from last week. He actually got drafted in the 8th round, at the very bottom of the 8th round. And for me, that still is even too early. that's too high for me. But in a dynasty league, then I like James Cook a lot more because, like you said, that the running back situation in Buffalo has been atrocious. So it's literally anybody's job to take at any point. And so if he can get his foot in the door where he's on the field regularly, I think that's a nice little value pick. I'm going to throw another one at you. A guy that's been in the news this week, Kareem Hunt, who's demanding a trade. And Cleveland's like, nah, you good. We going to keep you because they don't have a lot of talent, especially with this thing going on with Deshaun Watson. They need all the talent they can spare. So they say Kareem Hunt is stuck there. But if he's a guy that you can get late, do you like him on the possibility that maybe they trade him? Or even if they do trade him, he still gets on the field, a third down guy.
This is the thing. He always has standalone value. So when I say standalone value, if Nick Chubb ever got hurt, if he was to come in,
which he has
done, he would come in and he would give you possibly running back one numbers.
Yeah.
That game, I think if he was to get traded to a team that needed a running back, I think he could give you running back one numbers. He'll shoot up the board if he ever gets traded.
If he gets traded, he is immediately shooting up draft boards.
He's shooting up draft. You're probably not going to be able to get him late. Period. If he gets traded, anybody that
get him now. Wow. Why he's going late. So we got a question from Nita. Are you watching any of the draft camps, especially like your 49ers?
Of course, I'm watching the Niners one. I'm on Twitter a whole lot. So they show camp a lot. They've been showing the Cowboys camp, Kansas City, the Vikings camp. Jefferson is looking great. They say Jefferson hasn't dropped a pass in camp since camp started. Pittsburgh, they're saying Trubisky he's the leader right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that too much. I mean,
I think that's the best option. Angela can let us know what they think. But the scariest thing about the Pittsburgh camp, and yes, I'm with you. I don't watch every team, but the certain teams I like to tune in and hear what's going on. The crazy part about Pittsburgh is they're saying that quarterback competition is so open right now. Anybody could take it. It doesn't look much like Pickett's going to be the guy, at least not at the beginning of the year. But between Trubisky and Mason Rudolph, is anybody's to win. Trubisky's leading, but not by a lot. And I'm like, if Mason Rudolph ends up being the starter, that's and I repeat, that's just terrible.
They're saying Baker supposed to be winning the job, which I think they just giving him the job personally. I don't think he really, because him and Donald both are not good.
Neither one is
Let's
that
just
good.
Be honest. I mean,
they're not great.
They showed a video of him throwing an interception directly to the linebacker. So I know he can't be having that great of a camp
Yeah.
to be like, oh, he's just gonna outright win the job. They saying that he gonna win the job and they're gonna trade Donald to another team.
Yeah.
First of all, you got to eat the contract, which is not happening. Nobody's eating $18 million.
No, right.
So, I mean, let's be honest with you right now. So,
right.
I don't know. I think I don't like the situation. I don't.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Trubisky, he said Trubisky will get the job.
I think that's the thing. I can't see Mason Rudolph beating Trubisky. I just can't see it. Mason,
he had his opportunity.
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph had his opportunity.
Exactly. We've seen that show before, right? It's not a pretty
see that show again. No.
No, I know that no one in the steel curtain wants to see that show again. It's terrible. So I'm hoping Trubisky. Not that we've seen a lot from Trubisky, but I think part of his problem has been he played for the Bears, and so I'm thinking with actual good coaching, Trubisky should at least be serviceable until their rookie's ready to take the reins. So I'm rooting for Trubisky.
I mean, the only good thing about that is they run the ball a lot.
Yeah.
So
Najee Harris is gonna, he's gonna get that work.
And that's the good thing about it. It hurts the receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, it hurts Claypool. It hurts
Deontay
Johnson. It hurts those guys, fantasy wise. But I mean, it's really Najee gonna get all.
Najee about to get. Hey.
Oh my God.
He's on. They better get it while he's on his rookie contract. Cause the numbers he put up last year and the numbers he's gonna probably put up this year because.
He's doing way more than that.
He about to make that.
He doing 500 carries.
Yeah.
Easy. I mean,
Did you another question? Did you see the Patrick Mahomes pass behind?
So I seen it, right? I'm gonna tell you a funny story, right? I seen it, right? I was on Twitter, and you remember Tyreek Hill saying that Tua was the most accurate quarterback in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So
which we all believed.
They played a snippet of that, right?
Right.
And then they showed the Mahomes behind the back pass and it hitting the goalpost, and then they threw it where he just threw it side on. It hit the goalpost. It was like, and then Mahomes looked at the camera like, and I was like, yeah, they're throwing shots at Tyreek Hill now. You gotta be on Twitter. It's funny, man. Twitter, they be throwing shots at people, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
that whole comment was just silly, but he tried to support his current quarterback. But Patrick Mahomes is just awesome. They
are. I mean,
he's no Derek Carr, but he's close.
I might have to eat my words, man. I seen something today, man. They said Juju made a good catch today.
Yeah,
he made a really good catch today.
If he doesn't have the pressure of being the one, Juju's not a bad guy. He's a good number 2.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see when the Chiefs. I need Justin here to ask you, if the Chiefs are finishing.
Speaking of Justin,
there he goes. Mention him and he will appear.
Speaking of Justin, there you
so
go.
I'm gonna ask for him. Are the Chiefs gonna be last in the AFC West?
Yes. Yes.
You just gonna go down with the ship.
I'm going down with the ship. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm going down with the ship. I'm gonna leave it as is. Look, I just feel that way, and I'm sticking to my guns. I could be wrong, and you know what? I would come up here and I will apologize if I was wrong. But I'm just going down with the ship.
Right.
I said it, and I'm rolling with it.
Hey, do what you gotta do. Yeah. Let's see. Do we have any more of these value guys that we should pick up? Going like what we're doing so far is we're just looking back at our mock draft from last week, getting some value guys, people that maybe that we like maybe a little bit more than the general public, and so we've been looking at that, and then we're going to go into some of the more deeper sleepers. One guy on this group I do like. You took Rashad Penny in the 8th round. But Kenneth Walker's going in the 5th round as the rookie that they drafted, and a lot of the noises that Rashad Penny has the first dibs at being the guy. But it's kind of, I guess this is sort of a reversal in as much as Kenny Walker is going ahead of the projected side. But I think he's still a guy that you're going to get a lot of value because let's be real. The Seahawks present have Geno Smith and Drew Lock, and so that they're gonna run the game. They've already said they're gonna be running the game a lot. So that there's a lot of value for maybe even both running backs to get some
And
love.
I was gonna say that.
But with Rashad Penny's injury history, I think Kenneth Walker is easily, for me, the best value there.
Well, I think Rashad Penny
the third.
He gonna get the first shot to prove he can be the number one, and then if he don't do well, then yes, Kenneth Walker's gonna come in. But I think first shot is going to Rashad Penny, and I think Rashad Penny gonna take advantage of it. Yeah. That's why I picked him, because I think Geno Smith, Drew Lock, let's be real, they're not great quarterbacks.
They're really bad quarterbacks.
I mean,
I wanted to be on the Drew Lock bandwagon when he was in Denver, and it just never worked out. So yeah, they're both bad.
They're bad quarterbacks, so they're gonna do a lot of running. And Pete Carroll already said they're gonna do a lot of running.
Run.
They're gonna run, so you probably could get both of them and actually be okay. Not saying draft both of them, but I'm saying I think at some point
they're gonna both have their chance.
They're gonna both eat. I think it's gonna be like a 1-2 punch maybe, where they both gonna get the yards, because he's just gonna run so much. Now DK and Lockett is gonna take a hit as far as production, because I mean Drew Lock can't get the ball to him, unless they go get somebody like Garoppolo and get cut. I just don't know how they're gonna succeed throwing the football. I mean, that's
not with any of those. Garoppolo would be their best hope at anything if they could get that. Do you know about this Underdog Fantasy Football League?
No, I don't.
No, I never heard of it. I don't know. I have to let us know if you have some more info, but I don't know them.
Well, if I was you, if you're gonna do anything, I would do FanDuel.
For daily.
Yeah. For like anything daily, I'll do FanDuel. To be honest with you, because at least FanDuel is actually legit. Yeah. So, to answer your question. All right. I got one more though. Elijah Mitchell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll let you hit that. I forgot about that. Could have given you another 49er. Go for it.
Tough running back room. We always keep a lot of running backs.
Yeah.
But I think right now, watching camp, he's the lead dog. He's definitely gonna be good this year, especially with Lynch back there, kind of driving his ship now. So I think it's gonna be good. I think he's gonna be all right. What you think?
Hey, there's always going to be a good running back. And Elijah Mitchell came on. He was supposed to be after Trey Sermon, and he took that job. So, yeah, I'm always for any 49er running back being a good value pick. So, I like that one. Got a couple of other comments. By the way, that Underdog is on the local, I guess, Atlanta local sports channel.
Oh, okay.
Here's some. Justin, of course, is fading Mitchell. He ain't feeling him.
I know.
Geno was good last year.
No, he wasn't.
Sure about.
No, he wasn't.
I missed that game. but just it is for the Hawks running backs. All right, you have the 5th pick. PPR, one quarterback league. Where are you going?
5th pick, PPR league, one quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Brady.
Too early.
Nope. 5,000, 43 touchdowns. He has thrown for 10,000 yards the last 2 years. And I need for people to stop saying about his age. This man is a freaking machine. We have said he was getting old 2 years ago. We said he was getting old last year. And all he did was stuff for 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. I mean, I'm just saying, this is not a homer. Nothing. I'm not a Tampa Bay fan. We're not. I'm just telling you, at the end of the day, if you're looking at pure numbers, he led the league in completions, he led the league in yards, and he led the league in touchdowns. How could you not take him as your number one? Because you know he don't run the ball, and he's throwing the ball 30 times a game.
Because it's a one-quarterback league. And in a one-quarterback league, you can wait on quarterback. You need to fill up on your value.
He said quarterback, though. He said PPR, one quarterback.
Yeah, it's the league. What I interpret that as is it's a one-quarterback league, PPR, and he has the 5th pick. And in that case, I'm not going quarterback. For one quarterback leagues, I always Well, let me not say always. I typically, because there was a time in my life when I would want to get my quarterback that early sometimes. But now my philosophy is for one quarterback league, I can wait to no earlier than like the fifth round before I start taking my quarterbacks. I want to load up on all the skill position players where I can, and in that particular style league, I'm gonna see who the top running back left is. And so I'm guessing maybe at that point you might have Austin Eckler maybe is available, or you could get maybe a Dalvin Cook or a Najee Harris. If you're lucky, maybe a Derrick Henry, some guy like that. Or I'm going to try to see if I can, at 5, you're going to get either the first or the second wide receiver that's available for you. It's like a Justin Jefferson or maybe a Cooper Kupp, someone on that level. So I'm going skills. I'm going skill spot, running back preferably, and maybe wide receiver if my main guys are going at 1 through 4.
See, well, I guess where I get it mixed up at because I play in quarterback heavy leagues.
Yeah,
so we value quarterbacks a little bit more than skill players in the leagues we play in outside of a couple. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like for me, if I'm in a league like Justin in, first of all, I ain't touching CMC. That's just not happening. But I'm going Eckler. I might even go Jefferson Chase over Cooper Kupp just because of the fact that Allen Robinson is going to take a lot of that steam from him.
A lot of the Cooper Kupp hype from last year, and I love Cooper Kupp, but a lot of his success I think had to do with the fact that there was no Bobby Trees, and so
exactly.
So there was Cooper Kupp's still that dude. Don't get it twisted. But I'm with you. With Allen Robinson there, I don't think they're gonna have to rely on Cooper Kupp as much. This definitely gonna be a little bit of fallback from last year's, because Cooper Kupp was just insane last year.
I mean, I give you that.
Yeah.
And the thing is this: me personally, Eckler, JT, Henry, Chase, JJ, those are the guys I'm going before CMC because.
Well,
what I do know is I'm getting at least 16 games from them. And they can say, well, it's been really bad, slight injuries, but that's not the case. He's been hurt. He's played 10 games in 2 years. So, I mean, if you go on high like that, you can't – that's a high-value pick to put on somebody that ain't played. I'm just saying.
Yeah. The good news for Justin is he doesn't have to worry about CMC because the way it's been going, CMC is going to be gone by the time the 5th pick comes around. So he doesn't have to worry about having that injury history on him. So he's assuming CMC, JT, Eckler, and Kupp are off the board. And if that's the case, I'm thinking either Justin Jefferson, Derrick Henry, or Najee Harris. Those would be my top 3 goes right there. New it's a 10-man league, and if Kupp and Jefferson are there, do I fade them and go Henry, Harris, or Cook? For me, I love to get my running back good, so I'm fading. I love Justin Jefferson. In fact, I took him with my first pick in last week's mock draft. By the way, I was told that I was lying to the people when I took Justin Jefferson. I'm not gonna say who said that, but when somebody said I was lying when I did that one. I wasn't. I was trying a different strategy that did deviate from what I normally do. So if I'm going with what I normally do, I would probably go with. I'm gonna say between Henry and Harris, but I'm gonna say this year I'm gonna give that nod to Najee Harris.
So let me ask you this. Yeah. So let me ask you this. He's at 5, right?
Yeah.
And it's 10-man league, so he's at 5. You thinking 5 and 15?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken. So at 15. If he grabbed Jefferson at 5, came back around, what running back do you think is available at 15?
Let's see. Who might he have an opportunity for? I'm trying to look. This is where you're gonna probably run into guys, and I don't like this guy, by the way. Like an Alvin Kamara, I'm not trying to touch him this year. Maybe a Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
That's why at 5 I'm going running back for certain, because when you get back around, there's question marks. Now, one name that could be there, and he was there for me, Aaron Jones. I could definitely go there. At
that's what
15,
I'm saying.
you probably have a chance to get that, and yeah, that's a wonderful pick.
If I'm at 5, and I'm going Cooper Kupp, Jefferson, or whatever, you can grab one of those receivers and still swing around and get that running back, or like you say, go Kelsey, because you'll have 2 big dogs there. I wouldn't pass, because this is the thing. With the receivers, Jefferson, at least Jefferson, Kupp, and Chase are going to get 100 receptions, no doubt, this year. They're going to do 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns.
Yeah.
They're getting it. That's just obvious. If you can pair that with, even say, Aaron Jones on a wraparound, Aaron Jones is going to do numbers this year.
Yeah.
So
big numbers.
That's the route I would go. I would go Jefferson. I would go receiver, then running back, and pair it that way. Because to me, going running back and missing out on Jefferson or Cooper Kupp or Chase, when you could have had Jefferson.
Because if you don't go there, and that you're not going to get another shot at those. So I can feel that.
They're not there, Even I don't know how people feel about CeeDee Lamb. You got Mike Evans, you got Diggs, all those guys. Well, possibly, you got that there. Like me personally, I'm going receiver first. Then I'm swinging around like Swift, Mixon, Fournette, Aaron Jones.
See, if it's at 5 though, I don't know. He said he's hoped Swift or Mixon falls to him.
Which he could.
It could. It could. I wouldn't have my hopes up for that one. But yeah, it could. It could happen.
Are you fading Nick Chubb?
Am I fading Nick Chubb? I'm on the record. I'm fading Cleveland, the whole city.
Okay.
The whole city and everybody in it. No.
Oh man. Okay. I
might fade Ohio, but I don't know.
Stupid. Oh my God. Another name.
Yeah.
Javonte Williams. Melvin Gordon had a foot injury today. We don't know what's going on with that. Javonte Williams can scoop in there and be a top 10 come around. It's a lot of guys.
I like Javonte Williams on the comeback. Yeah, on that flip back around. That did.
Yeah, on that flip. You really can't go wrong with that, to be honest with you. I like the number 5 pick. I think him going that route would be probably the way to go, to be honest with you.
I like being closer to the ends in all my drafts, like top 3 or the last 3. But 5 isn't a bad spot either. But it's hey, if you know what you're doing, you can draft him anywhere. But five is a good plot. You're right in the middle, so it feels like you're never waiting too long. You know what I'm saying, for your pick to go. All right, we're done with the first hour, and we have not gone into our deep sleepers yet. Are you ready for it?
Let's go.
All right, you go ahead. We like I said, we just spent the first top part of the show going over the value picks that remain from our top 100. And by the way, if I didn't welcome Tony to the show, welcome Tony joining us. But now we're gonna get into something a little bit deeper. Let's start with our quarterbacks.
So we got
sleeper quarterbacks. Yeah.
Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence, Davis Mills, Matt Ryan, Jameis Winston. Me personally, and again, this is your deep sleepers, guys that you can get really, really late, and they possibly could give you something. The one that, I'm gonna say, the 2 that I like the most. One is Davis Mills. I am really, for some reason, I'm high on Davis Mills this year. Just because of the fact that he's not a runner, he's a thrower. I think they're gonna be losing so much. You get value, especially if you're in a league that gets points for, like bonus points for yards, receptions. Touchdowns.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think Davis Mills. I think Jared Goff is gonna have a pretty good year. Because he started to play well at the end of the year last year, and they got some good receivers this year too coming in. Like the kid from Alabama, It's Alabama, Ohio State. Correct me if I'm wrong. They drafted a receiver from Alabama, Ohio State. Was it Alabama? Well, I
He
think
was
it was
from
Alabama.
Alabama. He was from Alabama, but he's
Alabama.
not going to play this year, unfortunately.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
he ended up
They,
he had leukemia, so he's out this year.
I mean, they still
John
got
Mechie,
Saint.
I think it's
Yeah,
like
that's
John
what it
Mechie
was.
the fourth or something like that. Yeah.
They got they still got DJ Chark. They still got Saint Brown. So
No.
I still they got weapons. They
Oh,
got
I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong. I was still in my mind thinking Davis Mills. Oh, you're talking Detroit. In which case,
yes.
that Jamison Williams, he is playing. He's also from Alabama, though. Yeah,
So I knew it was
yeah,
Alabama,
he's
but I
also from
couldn't
Alabama.
think about it. But I think he's could have a bounce back year
Yeah,
with he actually got a top 10, top 6 tight end, to be honest with you.
yeah,
Two good receivers, Swift. He could possibly be a high 3 in a 2 quarterback league for backup as far as, you know, bye weeks, fill ins. He might be playing better than your second quarterback. I mean, it's possible, man, to be honest with you. Your dad is funny.
yeah. we keeping it 100. I always keep it 100. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I like the potential for golf to be better. I like the Davis Mills pick as well, but my favorite guy on this sleeper list for quarterbacks, and Justin mentions it as well, Matt Ryan. Because when does it Matt Ryan throw for 4,000 yards,
Yeah.
or plus or minus 100? But he's always at 4,000 yards no matter what. And I don't think that's you give him Michael Pittman. They've got a rookie we'll talk about later there. We're actually going to talk a bit about the Colts with some of these sleeper picks. So one of our viewers will be extremely happy to know
Yeah.
that. But I love Matt Ryan because Matt Ryan he's at the end of his career. The Colts team is built around Jonathan Taylor, but
Yes.
Matt Ryan is still Matt Ryan, and just last year he threw for near I think it was like just below 4,000 yards last year, like literally within 100 yards of it. And here's the biggest selling point: the offense is built around Jonathan Taylor. But Carson Wentz threw for 3,500 yards last year in this offense. You telling me Matt Ryan can't hit 4,000? Come on.
And another thing you're not even saying is the O line is
The offensive line is
oh my
way
God.
better.
Line is
way better than anything he played
God.
with in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
He's actually going to be able to stand on his own 2 feet the whole time without getting sacked every other play.
So that's
Again,
I ain't
Carson
mad.
Wentz threw for 3,600 yards last year. Matt Ryan is going to light it up.
I mean, I ain't mad at you. I like everybody on this list.
Yeah.
I feel like all of these are good sleepers you could grab late.
Yeah.
I think Matt Ryan is probably going to be the hardest out of this group because he may go a little bit earlier than some of these guys. Jameis Winston is another good one.
Yeah.
If he can piggyback off what he did last year before he got hurt, because he had 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So he was definitely, a guy that he didn't have the yards, but he had the touchdown and interception, which interceptions was his biggest problem. They just got to let him go a little bit.
Yeah. And that's the only thing that scares me about him.
Yeah.
Will he be unleashed? Well, will he be unleashed, and will he have? Because when we saw Jameis throw for 5,000, he had 2 of the best wide receivers in the league. You can argue that New Orleans ain't got nothing close to that.
I mean, you got an old Landry, which ain't helping, but you got a Landry, and they picked up a rookie out of college, and you got Michael Thomas. So you got 3 good receivers.
There's stuff to work with. Yeah.
Something to work with, yeah. So I ain't mad at that.
Another guy on this list, and I have said, by the way, I agree with Justin. Naeem Hines is a nice sleeper pick too.
Oh yes.
Because Jonathan Taylor can't do it all, and Hines is good for like third down situations. But I actually like Justin Fields on this. Not a whole lot, because we were talking earlier about the Bears. They're just sabotaging. But you mentioned that he's going to have to do a whole lot of work, like all the work, because there's just nobody there. And in that offense, with Justin Fields only playing like half the season, he got 1,800 passing yards. The offense as a whole threw for 3,600. So 35, probably below 4,000 is definitely reasonable. And then when you look at, he had like 420 rushing yards. And again, that's not playing area. So you combine his rushing ability with, if he can just get around 3,500, which would be less than what the Bears threw for as an offense last year. I think Justin Fields is another guy who could get you some nice value potentially.
Well, for me, he gonna have to be he puts me in a mind frame of a younger Russell Wilson, to where younger in Russell Wilson's career, he had to move around. He had to run a little bit. He had to make things happen for Seattle because Seattle didn't have the parts on the O-line. It's things they didn't have for him until they got like a DK and they got like a lock, and then but then at that point he got better. Right. But before that, he had to run around a little bit more. He had to make stuff happen, and I see that in Justin Fields.
He's gonna have to make stuff happen.
Yeah, 100%. I see that a lot in Justin Fields. So, as long as he can stay healthy, he could be productive.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, again, they're gonna be behind in games, and you have to keep them in games.
Yeah.
And that's part of him being like successful in fantasy. Like I told you earlier, just because they're not successful in real life, they can't be successful. I mean, they can't be successful in fantasy.
Hey, I'm gonna go back. Showed your age earlier. I'm gonna show my age with John Kitna. He was a terrible when he was with the Lions. He was terrible. Threw interceptions all the time. Detroit always lost, but for fantasy football, he can get you numbers, and that's what you want. And Justin Fields is that guy that's going to give you numbers. There's a question: how serious is the Jameis Winston injury? He hurt his foot. I think he like sprained his foot or his ankle, something like that. They say he avoided a serious injury. But considering he's coming off an injury, it might make you pause for a second. But right now, it's not looking like it's too serious.
I mean, they probably just can keep him out of the preseason games.
Well,
to be honest with you.
They need to do that anyway.
Like, I don't think so.
But right now, it's not looking like it's a real serious injury. But considering he's coming off an injury to his to that same leg or foot, it's something to watch, but nothing I think to lower your expectations for him.
Nah.
Yet. We'll see. So that's the quarterbacks we did. But we also had some sleeper running backs. We have Dameon Pierce from Houston. We have James Robinson with Jacksonville. Isaiah Spiller with the Chargers. Rashad White, a rookie in Tampa Bay. Isaiah Spiller is also a rookie. Zamir White, also a rookie. There's a theme coming right here. So we have four rookies, counted Zamir White, and then we've got the old heads, if you will, James Robinson and Darrell Williams. Who do you really like on this sleeper list?
Well, I like Dameon Pierce, and I like James Robinson. I don't think Etienne is going to really affect James Robinson as much as people think.
It's like James Robinson disappeared. like he doesn't exist. Everyone's excited about Etienne, which I get. But yeah, I'm with you. James Robinson has been super faded.
Well, I think they're going, from what I read today, they saying that James Robinson is running with the first teams. Mm-hmm. And they saying he's a 3-down back. Yeah. What I think they're going to do, I think they're going to run Etienne as a slot receiver because they want him on the field.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to have to put him on the field as a receiver more than a running back. Mm-hmm. He's just probably listed as a running back, but he's probably going to be more of a receiver than anything, in my opinion. Because they're saying James Robinson is the 3-down back because he can block. He's the better blocker out of the two.
Urban Meyer was an awful coach, but that was the game plan going into last season that Etienne, because Etienne actually did training camp with the wide receivers to a large degree because that was going to be his role on the team. James Robinson's coming off an Achilles injury he suffered in December. A lot of times that can take like 12 months to heal, but he's been, like you said, he was with the first team just recently. They said not against defenses yet, but the fact that he's out there with the first team running lets you know that they expect. And they said that he might be ready at the beginning of the season or very close to it. And
Oh
so
yeah.
if you can grab James Robinson, he's outside of the top 100 easily right
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
If
definitely.
you can grab James Robinson, he ends up being that third 3-down back or anything close to that. You're gonna get like incredible. If people like I said, he because of the injury, he's been faded like way more than I think he needs to be. But look at his
Yeah.
stats. He hit nearly 1,000 total yards between rushing and receiving on an awful team last year. They're still going to be awful, but you would think less awful than they were last year. And so if he can put up 1,000, he's going to definitely put together a nice contribution for your fantasy football team this year. I love the James Robinson pick for this sleeper.
So does Darrell Williams cut into James Conner's?
And that's why he's we I'm gonna keep rolling my dice. It hit snake eyes last year because we thought James Conner was not gonna live up to the expectations. I'm rolling those same dice again, and Darrell Williams is on this sleeper list only because James Conner still does have an injury history, and he squeaked by all of last year. But if there's an injury to James Conner this year, Darrell Williams is going to be a steal. No one's going to probably really draft him, but there's going to be a mad dash to the waiver wire should anything happen to James Conner. And for me, if I do draft James Conner, 100%. I'm not a big fan of handcuffing, but 100%. I'm grabbing Darrell Williams as the handcuff to James Conner just because. Justin also loves the James Robinson pick. He's being drafted in round 15. So for me, that's
a good value pick.
Yeah, that's an extreme good value pick.
That value pick there is going to be crazy because
it's just screaming by me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
He's the one that can really give you running back 2 numbers. Yeah. At that rate, going at 15, oh my gosh. You'll just be lucky. Just he the guy that you're getting here when you're elite. Just off of that, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Dameon Pierce because, again, there's no competition back there.
That backfield was atrocious. They tried it every. Rex Burkhead. Rex Burkhead was relevant in fantasy football on a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yo, Dameon Pierce should have a field day. They're gonna stink. But hey, is Lovie Smith still the coach? They're gonna run the ball.
So running the football.
They're running that football. So I like Dameon Pierce. You're gonna get a solid every week starter, and he's gonna. I can't tell you exactly what he's gonna produce, but I think he's gonna be able to produce enough to be relevant. Because again, that running backfield was super crowded and super awful last year. So the table is spread for Dameon Pierce.
Come out of the woodworks like an Arian Foster did.
Ooh, that would same team. That would be wonderful because I actually got Arian Foster that first year off waivers like after week 1. And
boy, if you had Arian Foster, Arian Foster, he had 2 really good years. Arian Foster was good for a couple years, man, and he got hurt.
Yeah.
And just injuries took his toll on him. But Arian Foster was on his way to being a really good running back. Yeah. And then he just got hurt.
Injuries just got the best of him. So do what you will. Justin talking about he's gonna have to handcuff Cook. I'm assuming he's talking Dalvin Cook. Yes, you definitely handcuff Dalvin Cook because he is just guaranteed to miss 3 games.
At least 3 games.
Just because. There's a lot of not just Dameon Pierce, but there's a lot of rookies in this running back sleeper group. Zamir White is there for me because of that preseason game. Josh Jacobs, the Raiders did not pick up his 5th-year option. And so for me, especially if you're in Dynasty, Zamir White is, at least for now, the future because the Raiders are known for not retaining their running back. They draft them in their rookie year, then Darren McFadden. We've seen it happen. Now down Latavius Murray. If you follow the Raiders, you've seen this story a lot of times, and they say they're happy with Josh Jacobs and his job's not in jeopardy, but his job's in jeopardy.
Yes, it is. So you watch that game, yes, it is.
Yeah, the fact that they played him at the beginning of that game so much, he came back like none of the other starters were playing. He was back on the second series. I was like, what are y'all doing with Josh Jacobs? Zamir White, yeah, that's a sleeper pick. He might. I'm not gonna say he's gonna give you a whole lot of value this year, but if you're in a dynasty league, you get on it now because the writing's on the wall for Josh Jacobs. But even if not, Zamir White, he looked really good in that preseason game, and so there's no way they're not gonna put him on the field when they get an opportunity to.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Hall and Carter for the Jets?
I'm a huge Michael Carter fan, to be honest. Like, you know that from last year, I was big on Michael Carter.
Yeah.
Michael Carter played well when he got the opportunity. If he wasn't hurt, he was on the field, he was playing well.
Yeah.
I think Breece Hall is being a little overhyped.
You got to pay too much. You got
to
pay way too
and
much.
To be honest with you, I ain't gonna say I'm not sold on Breece Hall, but you just can't flat out just put Michael Carter on the bench and just say I'm gonna roll with Breece Hall for all 3 downs. To me, it shouldn't work that way because Michael Carter, when he was in the game, he was good. And I feel like he should get an opportunity to be on the field just as much as Breece Hall.
Yeah.
I mean, and they just lost a left tackle, left guard the other day. So, I mean, me personally, I think both of them can do work. They giving Breece Hall a little bit too much hype for me right now. For me not to see none of that. I mean, to be honest with you.
The Jets are not a good team, and they haven't been. So I kind of get their drafting strategy. They're trying to get as much talent as possible. But at the same time, they drafted Breece Hall when Michael Carter was phenomenal a year ago. They drafted Garrett Wilson when Elijah Moore was phenomenal last year. And
I don't get it.
You talk about, I think, like you said, Michael Carter's getting faded a little too much. I think Elijah Moore even's getting faded a little bit too much. These are some talented guys, and like I said, they've been a terrible team, so they need to probably get as much talent as possible. But as a fantasy player, all that talent can't all succeed at once. No offense, with Zach Wilson as your quarterback until he gets his stuff together, which I don't think we're gonna see a whole lot this year. I could be wrong. Maybe he's gonna make a really big second year improvement, but for me as a fantasy player, I think they have a lot of guys canceling each other out. It might work well for the Jets in the future, so keep your eyes on it. But for me, I'm not paying the price for Breece Hall right now because I don't think you could just ignore what Michael Carter did last year.
You can't.
No.
Are you paying that price for Breece Hall or no?
I'm not. Not at all. No.
Or you gonna wait till Michael Carter slip down to you?
I'm gonna if I have to. I'm not. I'm full disclosure. I'm not trying to get either. For real. Maybe like I said in a dynasty startup, Breece Hall might have a little bit of something to make me like him, but right now, especially in redraft, I'm not paying that at all. Not at all. Shaq, you're late. Our third man. We're going through our sleepers. Your guy Rashad White made the list, and he's on the list for me just because Leonard Fournette. We've already seen Leonard Fournette should be the guy. With Rojo no longer there, but I think there's enough room there for Zach. I mean for we were just talking about him. Rashad White. There's enough room there for him to contribute to this offense. And should something happen, and basically Isaiah Spiller's on this list for that same reason. They're both rookies. Neither one of them's going to be the guy on their teams, but should something happen to the number one, these are some guys that are gonna automatically produce. And apparently, I'm giving away the Rashad White secret. Everyone, pretend you didn't watch the last few minutes, but Rashad White is a nice sleeper pick. He's gonna get some work this year. He's gonna get some work.
I can't use this guy. Do you think Isaiah Spiller cuts into
Austin Eckler? Not even a little bit. But here's the deal. Justin Jackson's not there anymore because he was terrible. Joshua Kelly is in Roundtree are there, but they were both ineffective. I think immediately Isaiah Spiller comes in and he's the second guy in that
Okay.
offense. And considering Austin Eckler, we've said it many times. Austin Eckler's a wide receiver. Stop pretending.
Yeah.
Stop pretending.
Yeah.
Austin Eckler's a wide receiver
Yeah.
who just lines up in the backfield from time to time. So that's much like we talked about with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. I think this is a team up that could work well for Isaiah Spiller.
I mean, I'm honestly, like you said, because I read a stat. They said that Austin Eckler had the most rushing yards he done had since he been in the NFL last year, which is 910 yards. So he had more yards receiving last year than he had rushing yards. So I think as a Spiller, he don't cut into it. I just think you can put both on the field at the same time.
Yeah, there's going to be some room for both of them to eat.
Yeah, I mean, both of them will eat, but I think is Eckler's team, no doubt.
Yeah.
Spiller's just gonna sprinkle in every now and then, but Eckler's the man, obviously. So we all know that. So
if you're in a dynasty league, we gave a lot of hits in this running back sleeper group because there's some young talent. There you go. That's enough said. Enough said. All right.
We got some. You want to hear receivers?
Yeah, you go for it.
All right, we got DJ Chark. We got Romeo Doubs, KG Hamlet, Alex Pierce, Allen Robinson, Jaylen Turtle. Now, the one out of this list that I think now, obviously we got some that's older guys, but the one guy I think that needs to make a big jump is Jaylen Turtle. I think he's the one that needs to take the biggest jump because of the fact that they don't have a second receiver. So at the end of the day, he got to be the one to step up, and they said they're not going to get a veteran. Yeah. So at the end of the day, do you see him stepping up, being that second guy? Because CeeDee Lamb is the one.
CeeDee Lamb is the one, and everyone else is suspect.
Okay, I mean
it's suspect, either because of injuries or because of, quite frankly, talent levels. Okay. And so I think there's a lot of room there for Tolbert to have success in this offense. With Amari Cooper gone, that's a lot of receiver share that's up in the air. We haven't talked tight ends, but it's coming. And so, preview, Dalton Schultz is going to get a good amount of that. That's the reason why he's big on this list. But you need a wide receiver. And, I'm with you on Tolbert just for the fact of he's a rookie. And so rookies do as rookies do, but the opportunity is there for him. And he's a guy you're going to get, like you said, really late because he's a rookie. And
is he draftable in your eyes?
Is he draftable in a deep league? Yes. In most leagues, probably not. But if I'm in a league and I'm in like round 15 and he's there, maybe a little bit earlier, 14 or 15, I'm going for it. Just on opportunity, especially at the beginning of the year, where we're not really sure what Michael Gallup's going to be. Someone's got to do the job. I think is a good spot for him. Another wide receiver I like on this group, he's also a young rookie. There's a lot of we didn't put Christian Watson on this list. I think he's made the top 100, but he's been hurt this year, and they have been talking in camp a whole lot about Romeo Doubs. They say he's connecting with Aaron Rodgers and looking really good. And like we said, there's Allen Lazard and now we're talking running backs with Aaron Jones. So that second spot is up. It's probably going to be Watson because he was drafted earlier if he's healthy. But Doubs he's basically impressing to the point that he's going to get on the field. And so if you get him late, or even if you're waiting on the waiver wires to see evidence of it, he's a guy you need to keep in your back pocket because Aaron Rodgers has to do something with somebody, and there ain't a lot of somebody there.
That's my point exactly. Yeah. He has to trust one of them.
Somebody.
You got to trust one of them. KJ though is one.
Tim Patrick's gone.
No Tim Patrick. KJ could be a guy that you can be like, he may be that number 2. Yeah. Him, Judy. We don't know which one going to be the lead dog. So My guess going to the camp is Judy, obviously.
Yeah,
But
and don't forget Cortland Sutton's still there as well.
Courtland Sutton and Judy.
Yeah.
KJ may be the third
1A,
receiver.
1B, but KJ, exactly. KJ, there's going to be enough room for KJ. Because, hey, I don't really get it all, but one thing Russ wants to do is cook. So,
Yeah.
he's going to be, I'm assuming he's going to be throwing the ball. They have a really strong defense, but in the AFC West, you're going to have to throw the ball around. And so, I think there's a lot of work there for KJ Hamler with Tim Patrick out. So,
I think the one that benefits the most on this list is Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
Allen Robinson is going to have a phenomenal year. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And you can get him late. Not too late, but late enough.
He didn't make our top 100, but I mentioned on the show that if there was an 11th round, I was going to Allen Robinson with my very next pick. You're going to be able to get, like you said, you're going to get him late. And we know what Robert Woods always did in that offense with Cooper Kupp. We saw we thought Odell Beckham Jr. was dead. He came alive in that offense.
Not in the offense, boy.
This is going to be Allen Robinson's redemption because he looked garbage last year. He didn't exist.
He used to get 100 receptions a year.
He's coming back alive in a big way.
Oh, my gosh. I can't wait, to be honest with you, because he going to do work, man.
Yeah.
And that's why I was saying earlier, he's going to take a lot of Cooper Kupp's receptions this year. He's going to take not a lot, but he's going to cut into that number. Because Cooper Kupp had, 193 receptions, I think, last year. Some crazy number like that. I might be off a little bit, but he had
Well, you are off a little bit, but that's always.
Man, I'm off a little bit. But look, 196, I think. He could cut into that. At least 40 or 50 of those receptions. Cooper would come down about 150.
Yeah. His numbers were just too ungodly.
Oh, my gosh.
There's regression coming. So, and Allen Robinson is going to eat.
It's not a bad regression, though.
Yeah, he's still going to get his numbers, but there's no way he doubles. Comes back another. We've never seen that from Cooper Kupp ever in his career. I'm not expecting to see it 2 years in a row.
No.
Yeah.
We'll see though.
Another guy on this list because someone's got to eat. We had Matt Ryan as one of our quarterbacks because he's always thrown for 4,000. You name a wide receiver in Indianapolis that's not named Michael Pittman, I'm gonna give you $100. Don't go look it up right now. But it's like they've got nobody. they've got nobody at wide receiver. So I think this is gonna be a good chance for Alec Pierce to come out, another rookie that you can grab really late, and someone's got to do work. Because Matt Ryan is not going to stop throwing for 4,000 yards. And so who's going to be catching that? It's Michael Pittman. It's Nyheim Hines, who we mentioned earlier. And I think you can add Alec Pierce as somebody in there who's going to be a nice little – I'm going to say Hunter Renfrow light, maybe, in that offense. He has the potential to be. So we'll see what goes. And
I mean, that's big shoes right there.
Yeah,
that's definitely big.
Very,
shoes.
very light, by the way. I think in Hunter Renfrow's rookie year, he had like 600 yards or something like that. 600, maybe close to 7. But yeah, I think Alec Pierce can put up something around that number. Which for your rookie year, that's not bad at all.
What's your feelings on DJ Chark? Detroit.
Everyone is on Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm gonna get his name together.
It's okay.
And they're like, he's great. And we mentioned Jameson Williams, the rookie, who's coming off an ACL injury. DJ Chark is pretty good at playing wide receiver, and that's with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if Jared Goff is going to be good at all, he's going to need another valve. And I think this is set up. I'm not playing because people are so big on Amon-Ra that, to me, I'm like, I mean, not that he's going like second or runner, but he's going at a level that's, I think, we haven't seen enough to really believe he's worth that hype. DJ Chark
going too high.
DJ Chark is going to. He's a big dude, and he's going to make a nice target. So I love Chark.
You think he's going too high? Brown
for me, yes.
Okay.
I'm that guy who my number one philosophy in fantasy football is go for consistency, go for guys you can depend on a week to week.
Yep.
So one season, or in his case, really part of a season, to me doesn't make you. I feel the same way about Gabriel Davis. People are really big on
Oh
Gabriel
my
Davis this year,
gosh.
and it's based
I
off
don't know
on a
why.
very small handful of games. And for me, I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not paying the tax on on part of a season. When you can do it for a full year, holler at me. You can get on
It's
my
not even
football
with
squad.
Gabriel Davis. It's not even a handful of games. It's really that playoff
That's the
game.
really, yeah. That's the really
It's
one
really
thing
that
that
just
was,
that playoff game against Kansas City.
yeah,
That's the only thing that people are going crazy over. But Gabriel Davis been in the league what
yeah.
4 or 5 years,
And so,
It's-
yeah, I'm
and
not,
and they did much. I'm trying to figure out what is the big
not
craziness
feeling it.
about
But I would say I go St. Brown over Gabriel Davis
in a heartbeat.
in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat. Yeah, you ain't got to worry about that.
Yeah.
I think because St. Brown is definitely the number one
Yeah, he
there.
definitely, for me, is one. But I think there's
Yes.
enough there for other wide receivers to eat off there.
And
Especially if
again,
Jamison
Jet,
Williams isn't fully back to being Jamison Williams. I think DJ Chark is a clear cutout for the number two in that
and
role.
also remember Jared Goff did throw for 4,500 one year with some
Yeah,
good receivers. So he's
he's
capable of
capable.
doing 45 when
Hmm.
he got talent around him. So you got to think about, well, you know what? And that's why I say him as a sleeper,
Yeah,
even DJ Chalk and Goff are sleepers because
yeah.
Goff can give you really good numbers because he got the talent.
And the fact that
Talent is
they're going to
there.
be losing a lot of games. They're
That
not going to
too.
win a lot in Detroit. So
Oh no,
So
they at
Jared
least
Goff may
third
not be
in
the
the
greatest
division.
of quarterbacks, but he's going to have to throw the ball a great amount of times. So for sleepers, there's a lot to like, if you will, in Detroit. From DeAndre Swift to St. Brown to DJ Chark, even TJ Hawkinson, Jared
Yeah.
Goff. So yeah, I'm down with that.
All right.
All right,
Last one. So,
last one.
tight
Is this
ends.
mine or is this yours? The
It's
tight
yours.
ends. It's mine, and it's
Tight
short.
ends,
It's a
baby.
very short list. Mo Alley
Very.
Cox in Indianapolis. Notice, like I said, we're talking a lot of Indianapolis tonight. Cole Kmet, Isaiah Likely. That's kind of, I'm going to be honest and say, that's kind of because I live in the Baltimore area. I'm reading and seeing a lot from him. But
Okay.
I'm going to come to it and why it's relevant. And then we've got Irv Smith Jr. Irv Smith Jr. At tight ends, you really, in a lot of leagues, only need to have one. In a tight end premium league, you might go with two tight ends. So a lot of
Mhm.
people only draft one, and you maybe pick one on bye week. So these aren't probably your league winners, but there's some guys here that are probably going to produce more than people think. Who's your favorite of these tight ends?
Uh, None of them actually. Just keeping it real. I mean, Irv Smith Jr. maybe
If they're opening up the
because
offense,
I mean, matter of fact, Jefferson was talking about it earlier how they running the kind of the same offense as the Rams.
mm-hmm.
So I mean, Irv Smith maybe, but I'm not drafting none of these guys.
Yeah, I don't know if any of these guys are quote unquote draftable, but
No.
they're nice guys to have in your back pockets in case you need to fill in at tight end, like on a bye week or should there be some unfortunate injury. Mo
Yeah.
Ali Cox again is just here for the same reason all the other players on the Colts are there. Someone's got to do the work with Matt Ryan in there, and I think
Definitely.
he's just as good of a candidate as anybody else. Here's what I said. I'd tell y'all a little bit about Isaiah Likely. Obviously, Mark Andrews is the man over there
I mean,
in
yeah.
Baltimore, and it's not even close. But as the one of the things that people say about Lamar Jackson, I think unjustly, but concerning the wide receiver, wide receivers don't want to come play with Lamar Jackson, or they don't want to go play in that offense because it's just not very creative for wide receivers, and there's not a lot for them to do. Well, if you can't get a wide receiver, you get a tight end, and the Ravens drafted two tight ends this year, and both are your really prototypical type ends. In fact, Isaiah Likely is kind of a smaller. He doesn't really have the body of your typical NFL tight end, but he's one heck of a pass catcher. And so I think just reading off how the tea leaves fell in that draft, I think there's room for a second tight end to really put in some work. And the favorite is from the early camp has been Isaiah Likely, looking really, really good in that offense. So
how big
don't be
is
surprised.
How big is
Let me pull up his side. I don't remember off the top of it, but he's.
Could they make him a receiver?
Yeah, and that's basically I think what he's gonna do a lot of, because he's like I said, he ain't gonna block. That's for certain. He's not gonna be blocking. Pulling it up now. He is 6'4", 240 pounds.
Ooh, okay.
So
I mean, he got good speed?
He has good speed. He didn't really perform well, they said, in the combine, but in the mini camp and everything, they said he was lighting it up and impressing everybody. He's about an inch shorter than Mark Andrews, and about not quite 20, but roughly 15 to 20 pounds less as far as weight. But he's the guy, especially in the dynasty league, that you might want to consider. Or like I said, don't draft him. I don't think he's that, at least not yet. But since they don't have the wide receiver, they've got Rashad Bateman as far as wide receivers are concerned. There's room for somebody to do some work, and that's where Isaiah Likely potentially could come out there and give you some not on a week to week basis, but if you need him.
So you said they possibly could use him as a receiver,
right,
in the slot, or
because again, he ain't blocking. That's not his strong point. I forget what he went to a mid-major. He went to. I'm trying to remember off the top of my. I want to say it was like a Mac school or something like that.
Really?
I have to go look it up. But he's one of those guys who doesn't fit the typical tight end role. But I think as a wide receiver, he could be interesting, because like I said, the Ravens did throw for 4,000 yards last year as a team, and so hey.
So who is the other receiver across from Rashad Bateman?
Is Devaney still there?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I forget, but it's
I mean, I'm asking because if the second receiver isn't that good, is it possibly they can run a two tight end type of set, and since they want to use both of them, because Baltimore normally runs a two tight end set.
Yeah.
Anyway, most of the time anyway.
Like I said, they drafted two tight ends in that league. And by the way, if you didn't know, Darren Waller came from the Ravens as well. So they're known for stacking up wide receivers. I'm looking now. Their tight ends, Rashad Bateman, Slade Bowden is on the team. Shamar Bridges.
Yeah, he gets creeping there.
Yeah, Devin Devaney is still there. So Devin Devaney would be the second wide receiver. And that ain't really saying much.
No, I ain't saying that. He can creep in there and get some snaps as a slot or even spaced out to one side. So I think he possibly could creep it in and be on the field with Mark Andrews at the same time. So could be. If they like him like that and they want to get him on the field, they're gonna find ways to get him on the field anyway. Exactly. So it don't matter. So
yeah.
Okay, be on the lookout for him.
Be on the lookout.
Preseason coming around.
If it doesn't happen this year, maybe in a couple of years since he's a rookie, you'll hear from him and say, "Hey, didn't JJ take me Isaiah Likely like 3 years ago?
I don't know.
Now he's relevant."
I mean, Dalton Schultz came out of nowhere, so he probably could too. So who knows?
I'm surprised you didn't give a nod to Cole Kmet. Like I said, it's hard to find sleepers at tight end. It's like
I mean, he may be, like you say, these guys, fill-ins, injuries, bye weeks.
Yeah, like you said, you're not drafting these guys. These are just some names to keep in mind in the waiver wire for later.
Yeah, that's about it. But we back every week, y'all.
We're back every week.
every week, so you might as well get used to seeing our face again, because we are back and we ain't going nowhere. So, but it's a good show, man.
Good show. We got some preseason games tomorrow. So, are you excited about seeing the Giants, Patriots, or the Ravens, Titans tomorrow night?
Actually, I'm excited for the Giants just for one reason. If their quarterbacks go out there and stick it up, that means Jimmy G on the way out. He going to New York.
Like the SOS is going up. True. We need to make this trade and make this trade quickly.
Easily, we need Jimmy right now.
Send them all the way across the country. I ain't mad at.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if Saquon is playing.
Yeah, I doubt it.
But I do want to see.
But maybe.
I mean, I hope not. I hope they keep him fresh. But if they let him in one series, I want to see how well he moves.
Like. Hey, I saw him smash somebody in practice.
I seen that. Well, I was somebody were early.
Like, he trying to get his Derrick Henry on.
He seemed like he might be back a little bit. I don't know. I'm anxious to see the Donald Baker Mayfield situation.
I'm not excited to see that.
No, I'm not excited.
Yeah.
I just want to see how it plays.
I know what you mean. It's the exciting off-season drama and how it goes. But
I want to see how it play out.
It's only slightly less agonizing than the Trubisky Mason Rudolph quarterback drama. So I want no parts.
I mean, me either. But I would go with Pickett if I was them. I would just play Pickett and just keep moving. So.
At any rate, well, thanks everybody once again. Let us know in the comments if we left out your favorite sleeper. Hit us up, social media, on our web page. We're always here and ready to answer questions if you got them.
Yes, we are. Hit us on Twitter. We will respond back.
Oh yeah, I've got nothing else to
do. We really don't. I mean, we work and just sit at our desks and stuff. He works from home, by the way, so
ain't nothing wrong with that. Not on Mondays.
Okay, I got you. All right,
y'all take it easy. Have a great week. See y'all here in 7 days. Peace.
And we'll be back.